Hello, and welcome back to DeadHour Files. Tonight, we're pulling a record from the deepest, dustiest shelf of the archives. A file that doesn't just bend the rules of reality, it shatters them completely. This is DeadHour File 103, the 1985 Infinite Office Floor. Our story begins with a flicker, the telltale hum of a VHS tape loading. The screen wobbles, and a grainy title card appears. Empire Heights Security, 9/12, 1985 through the static. We meet Elias, a night shift security guard doing his rounds. It's just another Tuesday night, another lonely patrol through the silent, sleeping skyscraper. The squeak of his shoes on the polished marble floor, but the jingle of keys on his belties are the only sounds breaking the stillness. Elias steps into the old service elevator, his breath fogging the cool metal interior. As he goes to press the button for the next floor, his gaze snags on something unusual. Nestled amongst the familiar worn plastic buttons is a small, unmarked circle of polished brass. It's not on any of the building's blueprints. He's ridden this elevator 1,000 times and never seen it before. Against his better judgment, a flicker of curiosity or perhaps boredom guides his finger. He presses it. The elevator doesn't jolt or climb. Instead, it hums with a low, resonant frequency he's never heard before. A vibration that seems to thrum right through his bones. The doors slide open with a soft, final hiss. Elias steps out, expecting another familiar, darkened lobby. What he finds instead defies all logic. He's on a 40th floor that simply shouldn't exist. Before him stretches an impossible, sprawling office space. A liminal nightmare of beige cubicles that seem to multiply into a hazy, indistinct horizon. The air is thick and stale, tasting of old paper and ozone. Above, a grid of fluorescent lights hums a monotonous, sickly tune, some flickering erratically as if struggling to stay lit. The silence is profound, yet deafening. There are no signs of life, no scattered papers, no half-finished cups of coffee, just rows upon rows of empty desks and silent, waiting chairs. The VHS footage, our only window into this event, captures Elias's breath catching in his throat. His initial confusion quickly curdles into a raw, escalating panic. He pulls out his walkie-talkie, his voice trembling as he calls for dispatch, but only a burst of harsh static answers him. He looks at the wall clocks, hoping for a shred of normalcy. But there are dozens of them, all identical, and every single one is ticking counter-clockwise. A cold dread washes over him as he glances at his own wristwatch. The second hand isn't just ticking backward, it's spinning, a frantic blur reversing time at a dizzying, impossible speed. He has to get out. He spins on his heel and runs, but every corridor he takes, every corner he turns, leads him back to an identical, maddeningly familiar stretch of beige cubicles. The maze is perfect, seamless, and infinite. Then, a new sound cuts through the fluorescent hum. A shrill, insistent ringing. It's coming from one of the desks in the center of the vast room. Isolated, standing alone, is a single black rotary phone. It looks ancient, out of place, even in this bizarre, timeless office. Compelled by a force he can't explain, Elias walks toward it. His hand shakes as he lifts the heavy receiver to his ear. The voice on the other end is disturbingly familiar. It's his own, but it's strained, filled with a terror he hasn't yet felt. A voice from 10 minutes in the future. Don't look. His future self begs, the words cracking with fear. Whatever you do, don't look behind the water cooler. Just as the message ends, the VHS footage begins to tear. Heavy tracking lines slice across the screen, the image distorting violently. Elias, frozen by the phone call, slowly turns his head. The camera pans with him, shakily, towards a vintage water cooler in the corner. And that's when we see it. A shadow, impossibly dark, begins to peel itself away from the carpet. It's not cast by any of the furniture. It has a thickness, a weight to it, detaching from the floor like black ink spreading in water. It begins to rise, to take a form that defies geometry, and it starts to advance towards him. At the bottom of the screen, the time stamp on the tape, 1985, begins to glitch. Counting forward uncontrollably, it flashes past 1999, 2008, 2023, accelerating into years that haven't happened yet. In the final, distorted frames of the recording, Elias is seen scrambling towards a window. He stares out, but there's no city, no skyline, no stars. There's only a void, a howling, roaring storm of pure, blinding static. The image dissolves, the audio screams, and then the feed cuts to a sea of white noise. The tape ends. Resident status, archived only. Thanks for joining us in the archive. If you find these forgotten files as fascinating as we do, make sure to like this video and subscribe to DeadHour Files for more. Until next time, stay curious.